So I've always been interested in cameras, and when I was a kid, I was in junior high school, and I was visiting my grandmother, and she lived in Fresno, California, and we went to the mall, and they had a camera store at the mall, and they had a used camera section, and I bought this camera while I was there. It is a Minolta 16. I believe the model of this is actually the 16.2, 16.11, or II, whatever you want to say. And it is, I think I paid $30 for it in probably I don't want to guess, a long time ago. 69, I don't know, somewhere back in then, a long time ago. So this is a Minolta, and it is got the original, one of the oldest Minolta names on it, the Chiyoda Kogaku from Japan. That's an older name than the Minolta name. And this camera shoots on 16 millimeter movie film. Now, 16 millimeter movie film has a sprocket on one side only, unlike 35 millimeter film, it only has a sprocket on one side. And they shot a rectangular negative, a rectangular image onto the film sideways. So they lost some room on the film because there's sprocket holes down here, but then the picture went here. And I bought the developing reel at the same time so I could go home and I could develop. I had my own dark room at home, so I could develop this film. And the way this camera works is that you pull it out, and this is the shutter, and you close it, and when you bring it back out again, it's already advanced the film and cocked the shutter. So you can't pull it out without taking a picture. So it has adjustable shutter and F number. It is f16 to f2.8, so pretty fast lens for the day. Pretty fast shutter, also 500 to 30th. It has a, can you read it on there? Is it upside down? Yeah. It has a 22 millimeter f2.8 Rokkor lens. And the lens is under there. Let's see here. Let me put it on bulb so we can hold it open. Yeah, there's the lens down in there. It has little slide filters. Let me take the filter off here for a second. Yeah, there's the lens in there. So I had a set of filters. It came with it. When I bought it used, it came with some accessories. And it came with a couple filters. This is the UV filter. It came with an amber filter. It also came with a close-up lens that you could slide on. And then this is the viewfinder here. It's just it goes through as the case moves out. It gives you some room to look through it. It becomes longer. It has a flash sync on it. I had a flash unit for this that took one flash bulb, one of those little tiny little, like what size my pinky, little flash bulb. I think I actually had an electronic flash for this too, if I remember right. But anyway, I got it when I was in junior high school, and I carried it around all through high school. So I had photographs from my childhood, which is really, really cool. I do like that. So in order to get into it, you push this down, and then the whole thing slides out. You can see how kept track of the number of exposures you made on the film. And then this little door here where the film, it was a little plastic cassette that fit in here. And close it up, and away you go. Very easy to change the film. Kind of like an Instamatic back in the day. All aluminum. And pretty rugged. I mean, I dropped this a lot when I was a kid, right? I dropped this a lot of times. I remember, if you can see it there. I remember that ding. I remember being upset when I put that ding on it. Yeah, pretty cool. All right, so that's what I had when I was in junior high school. I've had a lot of cameras in my lifetime, and at one time I was big into Minox. I had every single Minox camera and accessory. I had the tripods, I had the close-up attachments, I had the copy stand, I had the binocular, the right angle, the development tank. I had every single Minox thing that you could think of. I had the books. Yeah, I had this huge Minox collection that I accumulated over the years. Sold it all, made good money on it, but I did keep one Minox camera. So this is a Minox B, and this is the quintessential spy camera that you'll always see. Zoom back down into here. There was a Minox A that did not have a light meter, so this is an exposure meter here. So it was only that big. It only had, you had to guess what the exposure was. This one, you pointed at the light source and then you push the button, and then that needle holds the exposure. And then when you change the shutter speed, you're lining up this arrow to wherever that little meter is. Also kind of tells you what the ASA rating and stuff is. So anyway, this has shutter speeds from time, bulb, a half of a second up to a thousandth of a second. Quite a fancy little camera. It also has focus, okay? So this is one of the coolest things about the Minoxes. So these were developed for the CIA, I think. At least they bought a lot of them. The CIA, I think, had a lot of input to what these things were going to look like. And so this one has some interesting features on the focus knob. Now, there was no way to look through it and focus it, so you had to just guess. So somebody was 6 feet away, you could put it on 6 feet. Somebody was 3 feet away, you could put it on 3 feet. And then the little stripe there tells you the range of focus, right? This thing had no aperture settings. It just had a fixed aperture, which was f3.5. So a 15 millimeter lens, f3.5. And so you could go closer though. You could go 16 inches, 1 foot, 10 inches, and it close focuses to 8 inches. And so what do spies do with these things? Well, they take pictures of documents, of course. You've seen it in all the spy movies. So how do you take a picture of a document when you have this thing hidden on your body, right? So let me show you that. Let me back up the camera a bit. Okay, so I want to get a good picture of this thing here, right? And I want to be close. And so how close do we want to be? Oh, let's say I want to be about that close, okay? Well, you see this lanyard here that the camera has attached to it, okay? This lanyard has a little bead crimped on right there, and a little bead crimped on right there, and a little bead right there, right? And 8 inches, 10 inches, 1 foot. Well, that's the 8-inch bead, that's the 10-inch bead, and that's the 1 foot bead. So you would drape the chain down until the 8-inch bead touches the table, and then you know you're exactly 8 inches, right? And so now you could just come along and bang, you've just now taken a picture exactly in focus. So yeah, so this was very essential, right? So this is 1 foot, and the next bead is at, what was it? 1 foot, 1 foot 6 inches. So this is the 6 inches more is on that one, okay? So yeah, very cool. I do like it. Let's zoom back in on the camera here. All right, you could take the lanyard off. It's kind of a funny little bayonet thing, but this comes off, and that is spring loaded. So when you put the little bayonet thing back inside, it's kind of a funny little thing that it goes in, and then you have to rotate this little thing around. Anyway, it holds it in there. Like I said before, this is the focus knob, this is the shutter knob, this is the light meter. Now the Minox B didn't have electronic shutter, it was mechanical shutter. The Minox C had electronic shutter, and so it would auto expose to the meter here. And then they came up with an LX version, which was all electronic, I think. Never had one of those. This is the shutter here. So these, again, they go in and out. So every time you go in and out, it winds the film, cocks the shutter. There is the viewfinder. The reason I kept this one is it has a cracked viewfinder. It doesn't affect the operation of the camera at all, but it's no longer collectible because of that, so I just kind of kept it. The lens is down in there. There's this funny little thing here that you can slide over, and it's some built-in filters. So there's kind of a green filter and then a neutral density filter that you could pop in, because this was a fixed f3.5, so if you're in very, very bright sunlight, you could put in that neutral density filter. So those are built in. All right, let's see here, what else can we say? The way to get into this is really weird. It's right there. You put your thumbnail on it, then the thing will open up. All right, and it won't come apart. That's as far as it goes. But it also had a little cassette. Now, these did not use, you might think maybe these are 8mm movie film, but no, this is a special film. It was a 9mm film, and it had no sprocket holes. It did shoot sideways, but it had no sprocket holes. And the film plane at the lens has a slight curvature to it to help the focus on this thing. It actually has very good optics. I was looking for a picture that I had taken with this camera, but I know the one I had in mind, but I just can't find it anymore. It also has a attachment with some electrical connections through. So the shutter is connected to this connector here, which is for flash. And it had flashes that attached onto here. So you could buy that as attachment. I had one that was like a magic cube. What were those things? The flash cubes. I had one of those. I had a normal little single bulb one. Yeah, these are really cute. Nice little tripod that would come with it too, that all folded up into a really kind of like a spy thing. That was fun too. Anyway, one of those wonderful guy toy things to have, right? The Nagra tape recorder or the spy camera. Somebody mentioned they had a beautiful sextant, a Questar telescope. There are a whole bunch of cool guy toys to be coveted. This being one of them. Yeah, it's a beauty.